Hello and welcome to the Counselor Complete OMS Telehealth Overview. In this overview, we're going to review the variety of opportunities that are available through the telehealth system, as well as the quick setup process to get you started. And then we'll move on to talking about how you can create telehealth appointments on your schedule and the automation that's involved there, as well as how you can create telehealth sessions on demand. So let's start with the opportunities. Obviously, post-fitting follow-ups, right? So you work with the patient, they have some questions. A lot of times, by having the patient come back in for simple things where you can retrain them, you could retrain them through a telehealth system, right? Um, as I go through these opportunities, by the way, I should mention that the telehealth system within Counselor is a fully HIPAA-compliant video conferencing system. What that means that any of the areas that I show you here enable you to have conversations with patients, with other people on your staff that contains information that would need HIPAA safeguards, right? So here's an example where you can obviously talk directly to the patient and you can talk freely, right? You can do those simple post-fitting or post-activation if we're talking about cochlear implant, those follow-up type trainings. Quick troubleshooting. Now, this could be right after fitting, or this could be years down the road, right? As we know, oftentimes our schedules can get booked up really quickly with 5-minute cleaning checks that turned out to just be the batteries in upside down, right? Or the wax guard needed replaced, and you just needed to coach the patient on how to change the wax guard. This enables you to, of course, have that quick session with the patient in a convenient fashion. This could be obviously from their home. This could be, the patient could be in their home. The patient could be in their office. They could be on the go. They could be on vacation, and they could be having that conversation with you. Tinnitus therapy is another area we see great potential, depending on how you manage the process. But certainly, if the patient is going to be seeing you, many times, right, over an extended period of time, you may do your initial sessions in-house, but then start doing the sessions at a convenient location for the patient, right? So if it's easier for them to do this from work or from work or from home, whatever, that can be done very, very quickly and easily. Sign language conversations as well. So if you sign or if your patient sign, you can have those conversations in a HIPAA compliant fashion. Now, if the patient is in office and you wish to add someone new, it could be the patient's child, their spouse, their caregiver, their power of attorney, right? Whatever the case may be, you can fire up a quick telehealth session and have a conversation where everyone now is in the same room, right? If there are times when a decision can't be made, maybe on moving forward with amplification, until that extra person is, available, right? And sometimes the patients will say, well, I'll just go home and talk to my daughter. Hey, let's bring your daughter into this. Right, let's bring it right now. And the daughter, actually in any one of these scenarios, the patient or the spouse, the daughter, can be on PCs, Apple devices, laptop, desktops, tablets, smartphones, right? They can use whatever device is convenient to them, and they can join in on the session. Also, we feel like this is an opportunity to reach out to the community. I'm sorry. Obviously, there are a lot of patients that picking up that phone to make the call can be a challenging one, right? And they oftentimes have a lot of questions on that initial call, but really it's most appropriate to talk with the provider, right? It's not necessarily something that you want your front office staff or your patient care coordinators asking loads of questions on, right? So this allows you to potentially offer free consultations where you can say, hey, let's have a quick conversation with the provider. And then at that time, you can start to determine, is there medical necessity for performing evaluations? Is there a need potentially for amplification? Or are these the type of things that should be triaged through primary care or ENT first? Right? It allows you to have that conversation with the patient in a format that's easy for them, convenient for them, and comfortable, right, for them. And then lastly here, also staff trainings and conversations. So these are things where if you want to, talk with your staff in-house, maybe you're working from home or you have multiple offices and you want to be able to do trainings with staff and you want to actually, talk about patient-related things, not just generic business things. This once again enables you to have a HIPAA-compliant conversation where you can chat through anything that you want. All right, so those are the opportunities. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look at the setup. All right, so back in Counselor here, we're going to go under Administration and under Clinic List. Under the clinic list, you would edit the clinic that you wish to activate telehealth for. Then you'd click on Advanced Settings. Down the list here, we can see the telehealth option. Go ahead and click on Settings, and then simply click the Enabled option. As you likely already know, there is a monthly charge for the telehealth session. It is unlimited. So with the $39.95 fee, you get unlimited ability to use a telehealth system. And of course, the service can be canceled at any time. Just simply come back in here, uncheck this, and also shoot us an email to let us know that you are discontinuing that service. All right, so we'll go ahead and close that. Once you click close, it is also very important that you click save to lock in that change. If you don't click save at this point, then Counselor would not save that activation. So it's very important to do that. All right, so now let's look at how you would schedule telehealth appointments. So this is where perhaps a patient called in and said, yeah, I've got an issue with my, with my wax guards. I could use some coaching on how to change them. And you think this is a great opportunity to talk with the patient virtually without necessarily having to have them come into the office, right? Of course, you go to your schedule like any other appointment. You click the day and time. Obviously, if this is an existing patient, we're going to go ahead and just pick a sample patient here. Okay, and then we can go ahead and there is a telehealth appointment type that can be created, right? Or you can name this whatever you want, and we can work with you to help get that set up. I'll go ahead and pick a referral source just for kicks. Let's pick something different here, newsletter, there we go. And now I'll go ahead and I'll save that appointment. So now we can see that Jim has an appointment here on the schedule. When I hover over his appointment, you can see there are a couple things going on here. First off, of course, it's noting that it is a telehealth appointment, but there's also a join session option. That means that whenever it's time to start this visit, the patient will automatically, or even, sorry, you can click here and it will join you into the session. At the same time as when we schedule this appointment, the patient will also receive an email with the details of the appointment, right? And then a link that they can click, actually two links they can click. One is to test their system to make sure that it's compatible with the telehealth system. Now, the vast majority of systems will work wonderfully well. The only concerns that we have are for older versions of Internet Explorer, typically ones that are not even supported by Microsoft anymore. So the likelihood is very, very good that whatever system you're using will work with a telehealth system, but there may be some occasional examples where it wouldn't. But they can test their system, and then when it's time for the appointment, they can click the link and that will fire up the session, right? So if it was time for, if I'm the provider, it's time for me to join, I would go ahead and click on join session. Okay, from both the provider side and the patient side, you're just asked to put in your name very briefly, and then you join the session. I'll show you how that looks in just a moment here. But you can see again, we have another appointment for telehealth here. When I hover, I can go ahead and join the session. If I'm inside the appointments, if I click inside the appointment, there's also the option to join the session there as well. All right. Now, as far as on-demand sessions, you'll notice there is a telehealth icon in the top right-hand corner. You simply click on that, and this is the same behavior you would see if I click the join session option from the schedule. It'll automatically recognize the provider. So here I'm logged in as Kate, so I'll be playing the role of Dr. Rogers today. And then all Kate would have to do is go ahead and click join now. Now, I'm kind of a funny looking Kate, as you can see. The patient, whoever you're working with, their image would be in the rest of the screen here. So of course you can see yourself. You also have some other abilities. So you could mute yourself if needed. You can have comments back and forth or chat back and forth with the patient. Now, this can be important, of course, if you really want to communicate some very specific information and you want the patient to be able to see it in real time. Right, so you could chat back and forth. You also can invite. So if you need someone else to add this, you can add up to 6 people, a total of 6 people participating in the telehealth session. So you'd simply click the invite option, enter the email address for whoever it is that you wish to invite, and then they get an email with a link. So in the on-demand session idea of this, I fired up a session. Maybe the patient had a quick question for me. I put their email address in, they receive the email, they click the link, they can join in a matter of seconds. right? And then you're having that face-to-face conversation. Or once again, the patient's sitting in the room and they need to bring their daughter or their son into the conversation. We can very quickly get this going. They open it up on their smartphone and it's as if they're right there. Okay, and then of course when the telehealth session is completed, you go ahead and click end. Now if that was an accident, and the patient will see this as well, you can of course just join right away again. So if I didn't mean to do that, you don't have to worry, you don't have to start from scratch. You can go back to where you were. Obviously, we believe that this system has a great deal of potential. Many opportunities are available. Please let us know if you have any questions. If you'd like any assistance with the setup process, we're always happy to help. So give us a call, live chat us, email us. Let us know if we can assist in any way. So thank you very much for joining us for the Counselor Complete OMS Telehealth Overview.